Can't see shit in the sun though.
Huh?
Can't see shit in the sun. Are we gonna record right now?
Yeah, it's a 4122. Actually, come over to this truck. Go to this truck.
I think the video went away.
Did it?
Yeah.
Probably got too much length on there. Oh no, it's recording right now.
That is?
Yeah, just hold it in this wet point. Okay. This is my alternator. My alternator is secured and mounted. All bolts are present, none are missing. Nothing is broken or damaged. There's no illegal welds. There's no burn marks that would indicate it was arcing. My alternator is belt driven. My alternator is belt driven. My belt is in here. It's back in there. It is not ripped, frayed, or torn. And when pressure is applied to the center, there's no more than 3/4 of an inch give. All connections coming off of my alternator, these lines right here, these are electrical lines. There's no illegal tape and there's no burn marks, and the housing is covering the wires properly. These wires are a little bit, this housing is a little bit torn. Okay, this is, what is this? This is my water pump. My water pump is secured and mounted to the frame. All bolts are present, none are missing. It's not broken or damaged. It's not leaking. This water pump is gear driven. Clamps are in place, fully functional. The hoses coming off my water pump are connected and fitted tightly. Clamps are in place, none are missing. Bolts are tight. My hoses are not leaking. They are not ripped, torn, and there's no bulges. It's operating properly. This is my coolant reservoir. It is secured and mounted. All bolts are present, none are missing. It's not cracked or broken. The coolant level is at proper reservoir level for operating. Cap is on tightly. It's not broken, bent, or missing. This actually might be my radiator coolant. I think this is my radiator. This is my radiator coolant actually. Everything's pretty much the same as what I just stated. The hoses and fittings coming off it are not broken, bent. Bolts are present, clamps are tight. There's no rips, tears, or abrasions in the hosing. It's not leaking. I'll go over here to the other side of the engine. This engine's missing a couple things because it's not actually, it's a side truck. All hoses and lines that will be going to my water pump, around to my water, my coolant are right here. They're all connected properly. They're all tight and secure. There's no bulges, abrasions, or cuts, and they're not leaking. Let's see what else we got going. This is my power steering fluid reservoir. It is bolted, secured properly. All bolts are present, none are missing. It's not leaking. The cap is on tight. It's at its proper operating level. All hoses coming off are secured and mounted. Fittings are all connected properly. Clamps are tightened in place. There's no rips, abrasions, or cuts. Nothing is leaking on my water steering pump. Here's my gearbox for my steering. This is my gearbox. It is secured and mounted to the frame. All bolts are present. It's not broken, bent, or damaged. It's not leaking. It is gear driven, fully functional. All hoses and connections coming off of my gearbox are connected and fitted properly, tight and secure. All hoses are not leaking. They do not have any abrasions or cuts or bulges. Working properly. This is my steering column. It is secured and mounted. It is not bent or broken. There's no illegal welds. It's lubricated properly. It's connected by U-joints right here that are lubricated properly, connected tight. All bolts are present, secured and mounted, and they are working properly. This is my pitman arm. It's connected to my gearbox. It's secured and mounted. The bolts are present. It's not bent or broken. There's no illegal welds. It's connected right here to the bottom with bushings, connected to the drag link with castle nuts and cotter pins. They are present. They are not missing. Nothing is bent or broken. There's no illegal welds. The bushing in between my pitman arm and my drag link are connected properly, lubricated properly. It's not bent or broken. Everything's secured and mounted. There's no illegal welds. It's straight. It comes down here and it connects to my upper control arm with a castle nut and a cotter pin. Everything is secured and mounted properly. The bushing is in place. It's lubricated properly. There's nothing bent or broken, nothing damaged, and there's no illegal welds. This is my frame. It's straight. It's not bent or broken. There's no illegal welds. If it was bent, that would indicate that it may have been in a wreck or something, and it's not stable. But this one, however, is straight. Here are my hangers and my mounts for my suspension system. They're bolted properly to the frame, secured and mounted. Here's a bolt at the bottom of the hanger. It's connecting my leaf springs. My shackle is right here. My shackle, everything is secured and mounted. Nothing is missing. My leaf springs themselves are not bent or broken. There's no illegal welds. They're straight. They're not shifting at all. You can tell they were shifting if the edges weren't exactly lined up. These ones are lined up. In the middle of my leaf springs is my anchor plate and my 2 U-bolts. They're secured and mounted. Straight, not bent, not broken. Underneath my U-bolts, they're connected with 4 nuts. They're secured and mounted. Nothing's bent or broken. There's no legal welds. My leaf spring goes all the way back here. Once again, is my shackle. It's secured. Everything's proper, secured and mounted. It goes back into the hanger mounts back here that are connected to the frame. Same as up there. Secured and mounted. No bends or nothing's broken. No illegal welds. Bolts are all in place. Everything is functional. Here's my shock absorber. My shock absorber is secured and mounted to the frame with bolts. Everything is proper and in place. The bushings are not ripped or missing. No gaps in them. Everything's lubricated properly. It's not bent, not broken. It's straight and it's not leaking. Secured right down here to the bottom of the leaf spring with the bushing once again that's present. All bolts are present, secured and mounted. Nothing's bent or broken. This is my brake chamber. My brake chamber is secured and mounted with bolts. They're present with a clamp that's present. It's tight and secure. My brake chamber is not leaking. It's not bent, broken, or damaged. There's no illegal welds. The hose lines coming off of my brake chamber are secured and mounted. The fittings are tight. Everything's connected properly. It's not leaking. My hose is not ripped. It's not cut, and there's no abrasions in it. Everything's proper. This right here is my ABS line. The housing is intact. Everything's secured and mounted. There's no rips or illegal tape or burns. This is my slack adjuster. My slack adjuster is secured and mounted. To the axle. Secured and mounted to the axle. All bolts are present. Nothing's bent or broken. It's properly lubricated. It's held on by cotter pins, cotter pin and clevis, or clevis and cotter pins. They're present and they're not bent or broken. My slack adjuster, when the brakes are applied, there will be no more than 2 inches of give if I pull it. If the brakes are released, there will be no more than a 1 inch give if I pull it. Usually I would have gloves on because it's pretty dirty. Okay, inside here, this is my brake. This is my brake drum. My brake pad, my brake shoe, my brake drum, my brake lining, and my brake drum. My brake drum is secured and mounted with bolts. They're all present, none are missing. There's nothing broken or bent. There's no illegal welds. My brake drum itself, or my brake pad, has no less than 1/4 of material missing. And there's no grease or oil buildup that would indicate my brakes might not work. My brake lining is right here. It's secured and mounted with bolts. These ones are obviously a little bit greasy because this is an inanimate truck. There's nothing bent, nothing broken, and there's no in this one there is grease, but on the regular truck there will be no grease or oil buildup, and there's no discoloration indicating that my brakes might be being ridden too hard, like downhill or something. Okay. This is my front tire. My front tire is secured and mounted to the axle. It's not bent or broken. There's no illegal welds on it. My rim is properly butted up against the tire evenly. It's evenly worn at the top. It is not more than 4/32 of an inch deep on tread depth. My tire is 100 psi. I checked with the valve stem that's right here this morning. It's not bent or broken. It's not leaking. My rim and my tire are held on to the axle with lug nuts. These lug nuts are all tight and secure. There's none missing. If they were loose, there may be rust or shiny metal, but there isn't, however, so these are tight. This is my axle or my hub seal. It is not leaking. The cap is on, and the fluid level inside is at the proper level. Everything is secured and mounted, bolted properly, tight, secure. Nothing's leaking once again. Okay, here's my mirror mounts, my side mirror mounts. They're secured and mounted, bolted to the truck, to the door. Nothing is loose, nothing's bent, nothing's broken. Everything is straight and fully functional. My mirrors are set to my standards when I'm driving. There's no illegal stickers, and there's no cracks or nothing's broken in my mirror, and they're clear and clean, fully functional. My door is secured and mounted with hinges that are right here. As you can see, it opens and closes freely. The hinges are intact, obviously, as it's open and closing freely. It locks and opens freely with a locking mechanism. It latches and unlatches properly. Opens and closes freely. All bolts are in place, none are missing. Everything's secured and mounted, fully functional. My weather stripping, my door seals properly. It's secured and mounted. It's not ripped or cut. There's no holes in it. There's no dry rot. It doesn't get in the way when I close my doors. These are my side stairs. My side stairs are secured and mounted to the fuel tank on this one, and the fuel tank is mounted to the frame. Nothing's bent or broken. There's no illegal welds. I think you can have illegal welds on this, so there really isn't any illegal welds that you can't have, because it's not. It would have to do with weight differential. I think the welds will be okay, but there isn't any on this. The bolts are all present, none are missing. There's no grease, no oil, and no little debris that can cause me to trip and fall. My fuel tank is secured and mounted to the frame with 3 metal straps. All bolts are present, none are missing. It's secured and mounted, it's strong and sturdy. And my fuel tank, there's no cuts, no bulges, no holes. The fuel tank is at its proper level for operating. My fuel cap is tight and secure. It opens and closes properly. It's held in by a chain, safety chain, so I don't lose my cap. The seal inside and grommet are intact and in place. My catwalk is right here, secured and mounted to the top of the frame. All bolts are present, none are missing. There's no illegal welds, no cracks, it's not bent or broken. There's no objects. Well, in this one there is, obviously, but in regular daily drivers, it will be no objects, no grease or no oil. It would cause me to slip or fall or stumble if I have to get back. These are my electrical lines, connected with a safety latch, a little safety box that makes the connections proper. Secured and mounted, all bolts are proper to the back of the trailer, and the other part is right here where we'll be connected with a safety latch. The safety latch opens and closes properly, shuts properly, and connect like that. There's no rips or tears or abrasions or bulges in my line, no illegal tape and no burns. There's enough give in my line to when I make turns, it's not going to rip out, but it's not going to drag the ground of the catwalk. This one is, however, an adamant truck, so this one is dragging. It usually would not be dragging. This is my service line, my emergency brake line. It's red. My service line is blue. They're connected at the back of my tractor right here with proper fittings and connections. They're tight and secure. They're not leaking. My hoses are not ripped. There's no bulges and there's no tears in my lines. They will connect right back here with these glad hands, just like this. The grommets inside. This one obviously doesn't have one, but there will be a grommet in there to make sure there's no leaking. They connect just like this, something like that, but this one's all messed up. Secured, mounted properly. There's no leaking. Bolts are all present and in place. Everything's tight and secure, and they're working properly. These are my 2 air tanks. My 2 air tanks are secured and mounted to the inside of the frame. Bolts are right here. They're present. The straps are strong. They're not bent or broken. There's no illegal welds. No holes, no leaks. All connections coming off are tight and secure with proper fittings that are not leaking. All hoses are strong. There's no rips, cuts, or abrasions or bulges in my hoses. Once again, nothing is leaking. This just distributes air throughout the truck brake system. This is my battery container. There's no battery in this one, but the battery will be sitting here properly. It's bolted and mounted to the frame. Strong, tight, and secure. All bolts are present, none are missing. There's no illegal welds. Here would be the battery latch to hold it in place. It locks and unlocks properly. Obviously, there's no connections to my battery in this one because there's no battery, but if there was, these connections would be tight and secure. There would be no legal tape and no burn marks on my housing wires, and the housing is proper. Okay, let's go. Here's my header board. The header board's function is to be strong in case there's a sudden stop and my cargo inside has to shift and flies against this wall. It protects me from slamming into the back of my truck or coming through the wall. My header board has no illegal rivets. No missing rivets. No bulges, no holes. It's not bent or broken, and it appears to be strong and sturdy. My corner lights are up there. They're amber in color. They're secured, fastened, not cracked or broken, and they are fully functional. And they're amber in color. This is my apron. My apron is strong and sturdy. There's no missing rivets. My apron comes underneath the back of my trailer about 4 feet. This one's maybe about 5 feet. About right here, underneath. And go ahead and go in here, film under here. It connects to the top. On the bottom of my apron, there's a little shank and a kingpin that hang down. It connects to the center of my 5th wheel. You can see the out latches in the back there. If we come back there, but we're not going to do that right now. There's no space in between my 5th wheel and the apron where they connect. My 5th wheel is greased properly, so when I make turns, there's less friction. Here's the release arm to my 5th wheel. It's in the lock position. It's strong, straight, sturdy, not bent or broken. There's no illegal welds. Secured and mounted properly. It's fully functional. This is my platform. This is my platform where my 5th wheel is locked onto or is bolted onto. The platform is bolted onto the frame. All bolts are present, none are missing. Everything is secure and mounted. There's no legal welds. Nothing's bent or broken. Okay, here's my mud flap. My mud flap is secured with bolts. Everything's present. Nothing's missing or broken. My mud flaps aren't bent or damaged. They're not ripped, and they're at least 6 inches off the ground. My back tire, or my back rear axle tire, my tractor. It differs from the front tire. Only one thing, really. Well, a few things. The axle seal is a little bit different. It's connected tight and secure. It's not bent or broken. It's not leaking. All bolts and lug nuts are present. They're not missing. They're all strong. They're reliable. There's no rust or discoloration, shiny metal that would indicate they'd be loose. They're all connected to the back axle, to the rear axle. My rim is held on with lug nuts as well. Strong and sturdy. They're not missing, bent or broken. There's no rust or shiny metal indicating they might be loose. There's no illegal welds on my rim. My rim is butted up against the rear tires properly and evenly around this area right here. My tire is also at in between 90 and 100 psi. Checked with the valve stem. That is, I don't know what the valve stem is on this one. Oh, right here. It's straight and not bent or broken. It's not leaking.